In today's show, we discuss, is this the dumbest conspiracy theory ever?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasulo, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you keep it safe and well, and say hi to our audience.
Yeah, what the hell, Tony? That doesn't help at all. What you gonna do, eh? Hello, audience. Anyway, the audience, I'm happy to say, I'm glad to say, not so happy with this section of yours. Anyway, here's a fact that I think is going to make Tony, at the very least, going to make Tony laugh.
Okay.
This is to do with the Trump administration's recent tariffs.
Okay, I'm laughing already.
Yeah,
Go on.
The fact is that the Trump administration placed tariffs on a small island. I believe it's known as the British Indian Ocean Territory. The British Indian Ocean Territory. And the Trump administration placed tariffs on this island. Here's the problem. This territory has no civilian population or meaningful exports. It only hosts about 3,000 US troops.
Oh, really? and this is from the government. I mean, do they actually know what they're doing? Do they? That administration, I'm sorry, is a joke. It is a joke, isn't it?
How do you do that? How do you put tariffs on your own blooming island? Are you in what? Who signed off on that?
No, this is what
Are they throwing darts? Are they throwing darts at the board or something? Just who do we because how else are you choosing these things? Anyway, and I've sent you the link, by the way. It's very well researched, by the way. It's definitely true. It's just unbelievable.
Well, I know this has nothing to do with that administration. We're not covering that today, but you do have to question who's running the show here. And
lunatics, obviously.
Doing?
The lunatics have overrun the. Yeah, there's something wrong there. Absolutely something wrong.
Just minor. Did you hear? I've got to mention this now. You brought it up. Did you hear just what the Chinese said?
No.
Exposed the reasons, and that chart that Trump has showed at his conference, and it was showing the tariffs, and it wasn't. It was to do with the deficits.
Yes. That bit of it. Yes.
It's like, what are you doing? You're not even calculating it right. What? And this is the guy that's got the finger on the direction of the planet almost. It's madness, absolute madness.
I don't think we'll do a show on it, and I believe I've already said that he's got different. It looks mad because what he says he's trying to do isn't what he's really trying to do. But that's a different thing. Let's talk about this because this is a funny show. I think I'm looking forward to this one.
See, today it could have been a dynamite conspiracy show in a way, but very loosely, because what we're going to talk about today is this conspiracy the dumbest conspiracy theory ever? We're going to discuss a few that are slightly out there, and then we're going to see whether or not Tayo and I agree as to which is the dumbest conspiracy theory out there, and also maybe touch on why people even believe some of these things. So, that's what we'll touch on today. So, okay, seeing as you brought this idea up, which is quite a good one, what's your take? Are you want to start things off?
Yeah, well, so what I thought I would do, and I hope you're on board with me on this. So I've come up with, I found 8 conspiracy theories, each of which is stupendously stupid, and then I've tried to organize them from the least stupid to the most stupid, And that's been really challenging because it's not that easy. It's been a head scratcher. It's been a pleasant head scratcher. I've had a lot of fun giggling to myself. So I've got eight conspiracy theories here. And as I go from the least stupid to the most stupid, what I'm hoping is that you've got yours, and then we'll gradually climb up the ladder, and then we'll begin to sense, because if I've got my most stupid conspiracy theory and you haven't mentioned it, and I've got your most stupid conspiracy theory and I haven't mentioned it, we both know that, okay, each time we tick one off, we're getting closer and closer to the inevitable. Well, this is the stupidest conspiracy. And then it's
let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, okay. Go for it. You can go first then.
All right, number one, right? Well, number eight. Number eight.
Yeah.
The time cube theory. Now, this is a baffling pseudo. Sorry, you haven't got it?
I haven't got this one at all, so go on.
A baffling pseudo-mathematical theory that claims mainstream science is a hoax and that time is actually a cubic structure. What? Now, the people who claim this also claim that maths isn't real. And then they go ahead to try to use maths to prove them. To prove the maths isn't real. It's such gobbledygook that you don't even know where to start. It's just like, okay.
Oh, dear.
If you've ever argued with one of these people, they say, where do I start? Is 1 + 1 equal to 2? And then they're like, well, sometimes you go, oh, okay. And that's not even the stupidest theory. Can you imagine? That's my entry number 8, the time cube theory.
Time cube theory. Do you know what? I hadn't even heard of that one. I've got to note that one down.
You must be a very happy person. Your life is good. If you haven't heard of that one, your life is good.
Cube theory. Very interesting.
I'll send you links for these things. I will. I'll do it after the show.
Okay. I don't really have links like that because I've put it all together after research.
Okay, it'll be fun for listeners and viewers to go and click on the links and then just have some fun. Just good. Well, I hope you won't end up being, a time cube theory conspiracy theorist. That would be terrible. Okay. Well, anyway, there we are. So right. that's my number
I haven't got mine in the order that you've done. I've just got a list of them, but we'll see. I mean, these are ones I think are ridiculous, but there's so many supporters of this particular one. It might be on your list as well. Flat Earth theory. Okay. Now, I'm a bit odd to this one because.
Are you saying that this is your least stupidest one?
It's the least stupidest one. I've got some others. Yeah.
Wow! You must have some humdingers, man.
Some of the one I've got are just completely absurd, and it's like, is this seriously a theory? But like I said, mine are not in order, so I'm going to say that you could maybe put them in order if you wish, but the flat Earth theory, right? And what I get, I don't understand, is because why is it? We know there's planets in our solar system. We figured that out. The Greeks figured it out. Ancient civilizations figured it out. Even some of them propose that this is a curved planet. It's round. From experiments, you can do it yourself.
I know what you're trying to say. I think in this episode we can just jump in on one another because it's not serious. Of course. So I know what you're trying to say. I wanted to put it for you in a particular way that I'd like to put it.
Go on.
Which is that even people who didn't have toilet paper know that the Earth was round. What's your excuse?
Look, man. It's just nonsense. But it keeps going. It keeps going. And doesn't matter how much evidence you put in front of people, once they've made up their mind and they believe a certain narrative, that's it. You can't sway them. Evidence doesn't sway them. And this is what happens, unfortunately. I mean, I'm sort of sidetracking a little bit. This is what happens when you have a belief in something. Very difficult to remove that belief once it's established. Very difficult.
There's a film that makes that point splendidly. I think I've told you about it before. You probably haven't watched it yet. It's called Dogma. Dogma.
No, I haven't. No.
It's got Chris Rock in it. It's got the Ben Affleck and his pal at the time. Not Matt Damon. The other. Oh yeah, it's got Matt Damon in there too.
Yeah,
it does have Matt Damon in there. It's a really good film. And then at some point in time, at some point in time, as Chris Rock's character says, Jesus didn't want us to have a belief. He wanted us to have an idea, because you can't change beliefs, but you can change ideas. That was very
Interesting.
powerful.
Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, belief system once it's in, and yeah, it's very difficult to change. And I'm surprised by this flat Earth theory because, I mean, where did it originate? Oh gosh, you'll have to excuse me.
No problem.
Someone's at the door, and I'm going to have to answer it. So we're going to have to do a
Go on.
timeout here,
Go
which
on.
is really weird. Apologies. We'll time it out and start again. I'm the only one in the house, unfortunately.
I purposefully switched my video off
You
to
did
make
the
it
right thing.
right.
Yeah, that we
So,
can both put the video off so we know where the point of starting is
okay.
again. Right. We'll do it after three, and then when both videos are on, we pause for a minute because then it makes it. Sorry, we pause for 2 seconds and then I'll start talking again.
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. What were you saying again on that
Well, I wanted.
section?
You see, you were talking about the flat Earth theory,
Yes.
and one reason I find it ludicrous. Well, one reason. Here's the thing. Of all, there's visual evidence everywhere, from photos to space flights to airline flights, the curvature of the Earth. So let me just reveal it now. You've actually broken the premise of this session, of this episode, because this was my stupidest theory ever.
Oh, really?
The flat Earth. Look, there's
Oh,
evidence
really?
everywhere. No, number one. There's evidence in front of your very eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, you can look out on the horizon and see the cotton picking curvature. I mean, what the? I mean, it's there. You're looking at the damn thing. It's okay. Physics. The flat Earth theory would require throwing out gravity and going back to some kind of weird basic geometry. It's like what? Apples don't float upwards, man. It's not motive. I've always asked this: what the heck is anybody? What motivation do they have? How
Yeah.
are they profiting from this? You see, the Earth is the Earth is flat. No, it's not. It's round, and here's how I'm making money out of
Yeah.
this. It's like, what are you talking about? And then what is very hilarious, and is one of the links I want to send you: self-defeating proofs. People, flat earthers have gone out with the taking lasers and things to prove
Yeah.
that the world is flat, and then they've ended up going, okay, well, maybe my experiment is wrong because
Yeah.
I've actually proved. No, actually, dude, it actually counts. Okay, and like you said, this toilet paper thing. If humans from thousands of years ago figured it out using stakes and shadows, come on, come on.
Well, this is what gets me about the state of some of the people on this planet at the minute. They're not
This state
educated.
of
I don't want to be disrespectful, but they're not educated because if you're willing to stick by a particular belief system when the evidence becomes overwhelming and you still stick with it, that's different. I mean, I get it with people that have certain faiths and religion because people can say that. So, well, hold on a minute. There's loads of people on the planet that have a religion, but you can't you can't disprove it like you can a flat Earth.
Hmm.
You see, whereas religion, yes, is subjective and there's faith there. So yes, you can say, well, where's your evidence? But you can't disprove that either. So that's
No,
why that carries, some credence. But flat Earth, you can disprove it. You can disprove it, and that's the issue. But they still hang on to that theory and belief system, which makes it ridiculous, in my opinion, anyway. So that wasn't in any way my the least dumbest. It's just one on my list. So that's all.
Okay.
But it could be categorized as the worst. I'll make you choose what you think. So we'll keep going anyway.
All right.
Go on, grab one of
My
yours.
next entrance. My next entrance is birds aren't real.
Oh, I've got that one.
But this apparently was started as
As a
satire,
joke, wasn't it? Yeah, it
as
was
a joke.
Yeah.
And be very careful what you joke with, because some people out there, and it says that all birds were replaced by surveillance drones in the 1970s. And it started as a joke, and now people are actually running around saying, "Yeah, birds, birds aren't real, right? Yeah, you do know that." So he actually eat birds, man. Okay, so I mean, people go out there, they shoot birds, and they eat them. You can actually go into a restaurant and order pheasants. So what the heck is your problem, dude? You know, you know. At what point? It's like you said about the flat earthers. At what point does it become? Is there something the matter with you, bro? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, birds are.
That is a dumb one as well. I mean, but yeah, you're right, because that's exactly the point I was going to make. Birds die. It's not like they never die, and they also one shot down. Oh, look, it's mechanical.
Yeah. You can actually go out and shoot. I mean, I don't know if you should be, if you're allowed to. You can go out and shoot a bird or something, and then find out for yourself. And besides, if they're all mechanical, where's all this bird poo on my car coming from?
Exactly.
What are you talking about? The conspiracy is so dense and in depth that they actually put artificial bird poo into the bird. What? Where are all the little birds coming from? What are the little chirpy birds? Where do they come from? Oh, for God!
Is a chicken a bird? That people have KFC, or is that artificial?
Oh, do you know what? They'll say, "Oh, that's a chicken. That's not the same thing." I suppose that's what they say.
A chicken is a bird. What bird are they referring to?
Well, look, dude, if you're talking about people who believe that birds aren't real, logic like that isn't going to work now, is it?
Good grief.
Yeah, that's mine. Birds aren't real. Number 7.
Okay. This one's a bit weird. Like I said, this is not in any particular order, but the conspiracy that NASA bombed Jupiter with nukes.
Oh, that's a new one for me.
You've not heard that one?
No, Jupiter's a gas giant.
Well, okay. The reason being, there were explosions in 1994 on Jupiter. I don't know if you remember. There was a comet called Shoemaker-Levy 9.
Oh yeah, Shoemaker-Levy, or I don't know.
Yeah, Shoemaker-Levy 9, and it hit Jupiter, and they knew it and was filming it because it's a historic event. But conspiracy theorists claim that the explosions were too uniform to be natural, suggesting a secret nuclear test.
Secret that they watched. And that people knew was going to happen, but it was secret.
I mean, number one.
And again, why?
So
that
they're testing nukes on Jupiter. Why go all the way out there to? I mean, Jupiter would take years to get to with our technology, just to fire nukes to see what would happen. It's just insane. You might as well go to the moon and do it. The moon is far enough away.
Oh, you can't do that. The moon's hollow, remember? And the aliens on the far side. So. You can't do that. You upset the lizard people. But
it's just ridiculous. I mean,
okay.
Honestly,
I've never heard that one before. That was amazing.
It persists that the comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. It wasn't a comet in part, but actually NASA's nukes.
And
Nonsense.
Again, as usual, we don't know why.
We don't know why. Who's benefiting? What? Yeah. What's the benefit? Why are NASA going to benefit? What? Just a test? NASA don't even have nukes.
Well, they shouldn't. Well, the Americans,
but they haven't.
might.
They haven't. NASA do not have nukes.
I mean, I'm just trying to go down the rabbit hole just to see if it makes any sense. But so you could theoretically say, yeah, okay, the government. I mean, NASA is the American government anyway. So yeah, if they want nukes, they can get nukes if it's signed off by the president. But I don't know why you want to fire nukes at Jupiter. I don't know what you expect to see. Okay, you've seen it, and now, and what did we learn from that?
Well, we're struggling to go back to the moon.
Apparently,
how would we even go beyond? Even we haven't even figured out Mars. How would we go to Jupiter? I mean, that is ridiculous distance. You might as well go to the sun, and that's miles away. Honestly, it's just bonkers. But hey, This is just another ridiculous conspiracy theory.
I
But
agree. I
what I
agree.
want to know is the psyche behind these. This is what I want to know more. Why why do people believe that these things could be true?
That's probably a serious. That's a question for a serious episode, which this obviously is not. I mean, I would love to have a guest on who knows what they're talking about on like us, and and someone who's done the study and just so why do people believe these things? What's it? I guess I'm just guessing now. Okay, I'm guessing it could be some kind of reverse inferiority complex, if you want to call it that. They want to feel special. They want to feel that they know things, that they're wide awake, that they notice things, and the rest of us are asleep. So they're in the know, and we're not, and then they can feel sorry for us.
Yeah,
You
there
see?
is a lot of that.
So I think
You,
I
you,
think that's
you're
about
sharing a truth that no one else knows.
yeah,
But that normally, unfortunately, happens when you feel inferior in society
yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
And so you look for things like this. Oh, you're kidding me. Someone is at my door. This is insane. Me doing it on my own is a problem. Normally, Julie would
Right.
attend to all of this. Sorry. Well, this is fun. Oh dear. Let's let's put
It's okay.
the thing on again and then
Okay,
shut it out. Okay.
you've got two sections of that now.
I know to edit out. Yeah. Yeah, it is to I suppose to feel important,
Yeah.
but that's part of the reason why they believe in these sorts of things. Yeah, and I've got a couple of people who are very loose friends of mine. They're
Mm.
not really friends, acquaintances, and they're really avid conspiracy theorists, and they believe the most incredible things. Like I thought I mentioned it to you before, but again, it's relevant to this show, where they believe that a lot of celebrities, for instance, are not in
Mm.
fact dead. They're all
Oh,
hidden
we
away.
did a show. We
We,
did this came up in the show.
it did. Yeah, she honestly believes that there's a lot of celebrities and famous people, Michael Jackson included, Princess Diana, will be coming back now that Trump's in office. They're coming back,
To do what?
and well, come back from the dead because they were hidden because they couldn't be available or show themselves.
Because
Well, exactly. It's very thin thread. I said, why? Why? Oh, no, they had to go into hiding. What, all of them?
yeah, but why?
Yeah, why? Why? Oh, well,
And then
I don't
coming
know
back,
why.
and then what?
Yeah, exactly.
How does that affect
Just,
anything?
it's just incredible. I mean, I do wonder if I mean, look, there's no harm in having a little bit of conspiracy when you're not getting answers that you expect and things don't quite add up,
Hmm.
especially you're getting a narrative from people in authority and then it doesn't add up. That then you can sort of say, well, hold on, that doesn't make sense. What's going on
Mm.
here?
Mm.
That's fairly logical. But when there is nothing, There's nothing there at all. There's no one benefiting from it. There's no one, making money from it in any way. And you think, well, what, are you sure this is a conspiracy? There's normally an end release, a product of this. Someone's benefiting in some way,
Yeah.
or they're doing it for safety or something. It's like UFOs. A lot of people put UFOs as something that's an unknown, and it could be a conspiracy because there's a lot of evidence showing it. There's strange behavior, and no one has given us a proper answer, and we can still speculate, well, it may be just nothing, but you can't dismiss nothing all the time. So that one gives a bit more credibility because there are strange things you see in the sky all the time. And even I think you spoke recently about something going across the moon
Yes.
that was totally baffling. So things beyond our planet even are showing signs of oddities, and you think, well, what's going on there? So questions about UFOs and conspiracy are, less debunked, let's put it that way, because there are so many other avenues of evidence. Whereas with the scenario we're in with some of these, you think, nah, bruv.
Well,
These are ridiculous.
well, okay. So when case in point is the next one I'm going to mention. My number 6 is the case in point where you go, for what? That's where a lot of these conspiracies fail, because you go, well, who's benefiting? And it turns out to be no conceivable reason why anybody would be doing that. But before I do that, I would say that, touching on what you said about UFOs just now, because of this researching this show, I came across a UFO incident that I hadn't even been aware of. And I believe it is said to be, by the American Air Force, if I'm correct, the best evidence UFO incident. Do you know about the Tehran in Iran? The capital of Iran is Tehran.
Yeah.
You know of the Tehran incident in 1976?
No, not aware of that.
Well, yeah, I was surprised because I thought it'd be something I'd be aware of, and it's not until I was researching this, I believe, yesterday. And well, it's not really part of the show. So, but what I will do, I'll first of all, I'll titillate the audience and tickle their fancy, and come back for more later. It is the Tehran incident, 1976. Essentially, you've got radar tracks, ground witnesses on the ground, and several different Air Force pilots at the same time observing what looked like a mothership eject small spheres which chased the Iranian aircraft, so they had to perform evasive maneuvers, and all this was captured on radar. And then the spheres returned to the mothership, and the mothership zipped off.
Okay.
And
That's
all that
interesting.
was witnessed and investigated. And at the time, it was 1976, so the Americans were still friendly with the Iranians. So the American Air Force was able to send personnel over, and they did. And they came back, looked at all the evidence, did all the interviews and everything, and went, yeah, okay, that's weird. Which is essentially what all proper UFO stories end up with is, that's weird.
Okay.
The good ones,
Yeah,
anyway.
see, that's an interesting one. That'd be worth looking into in more
Yeah.
detail as to see
Yeah, I
the
don't know what it is.
validity of it. Okay.
Anyway, so my number 6 is this. Sorry for the aside.
No.
Chemtrails. Because
Oh,
you
yeah.
said what for? So this idea that condensation trails from planes are actually chemicals being deliberately sprayed to control the population. First of all, have you seen the population? If this is the controlled population, man, I don't know what is an uncontrolled population. So that's number one. Have you actually looked out of your window? And then secondly, who is able to keep a secret like this? The pilots, the people, the people mixing the stuff, the people transporting it to the airport, the people pumping it into the aircraft. All these people go home and say nothing and don't say anything to anyone. But we're supposed to believe it's true. And then scientifically, how do you falsify, if you like, how are we supposed to falsify this? Because if we look up on icy vapor trails, and you're calling them chemtrails. Is there some kind of isn't there some kind of instrument? We've got instruments that have got very fine fidelity on detecting things in the air that shouldn't be there. I mean, miners use them, and people go into dangerous environments use them all the time. They sort of taste the air for you, and then they tell you whether there's this or that. Has anybody ever got any objective evidence that there's things in the air that shouldn't be there? Hello?
It's ridiculous. Sorry.
Hmm.
Also, has everyone ever thought of the fact if you're going to spread stuff from the skies, if that
Hmm.
was genuinely the reason, wouldn't you do it lower down? Because that high up, it's going to disperse and be useless. It doesn't matter even if you had anthrax or some really potent, deadly stuff that high up. It's going to be useless. It's going to be so diluted. It's not going to affect anybody down below. It's too high up. Even when they dust crops,
They have to come down
planes,
really, really,
they're
really low.
really low with the planes. They have to be because otherwise they're dusting crops. It will be,
Well, that's why
evaporated.
dust cropping is such a dangerous job.
Yeah, because they have to come down so low in order to actually get the stuff on the crops. And if you
Mm.
notice when they're dust cropping, it's a huge amount of stuff that they have to disperse over,
A
over
small area,
yeah,
relatively
a
small
small
area.
area. So a huge amount of liquid over a small area. So why would planes of any sort go up so high in the sky to drop chemicals and they're supposed to be controlling us? Geoengineering? I mean, come on. Think it through logically. That's just not what it's there for. But you're right. That was on my list as well. So,
Okay,
yeah, water
chemtrails.
vapor. It's just nonsense. Right. I've got a couple. Uh, 5G causes COVID-19.
Oh, okay. 5G causes COVID-19.
Have you not heard that one?
No,
Yeah. This
I
happened
think.
in 2020 because 5G was being rolled out, and that's when COVID happened. So people put two and two together and made 74 and thought that's the answer. Where, trust in the telecoms company, oh no, they must be controlling us somehow. And the cell towers actually produced COVID-19. 5G call. Do you remember some of the towers, the 5G towers, were defaced and damaged
Oh,
because
I remember now. I remember
people
now.
thought that they
Right,
were
that was
genuine stuff?
2020, wasn't it? Right at
Yeah,
the start
yeah,
of the COVID thing.
yep.
And it was like, well, how's it? It's a virus infecting us, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how does this thing work? I suppose you could theorize that it's sending out a weird kind of signal and it's making the common cold virus mutate into 5G. If so, that's just what you call bloody clever stuff. Because I don't see the biology or the physics of that. But hey,
It,
it's I'm
the,
for what? But again, what's the motivation again?
to spread COVID-19.
So that
Exactly. To make people sick. Why?
yeah, exactly why.
Why?
And it's everyone, by the way, who fell sick. It wasn't as if one part of the population was immune, which would have led to questions. But since it hammered everyone, who benefited? Quo bono? Is that what they say? It's qui bono? Is it qui bono? Qui
I
bono, I
don't know.
think.
I don't know.
Hmm.
It's just again a strange one. I mean, obviously there's controversy about COVID-19 itself and whether 5G towers can affect people because some people are sensitive to the 5G radiation. They're saying now those separately you could add, okay, yeah, COVID-19, was that produced in the lab? We don't know. Again, the jury's out for that. 5G, could 5G cause illness, cancer, for instance, because of the
Mm,
radiation?
mm.
That's a possibility, although unlikely again. But to marry the two together, where 5G was the cause of COVID-19? Sorry, that's just ludicrous. And again, it's not been thought through. And they've just fear of new technology, the fear of the pandemic, and they thought, well, clasping at straws to try and find an answer. and they've put the two together and come up with this daft conspiracy, which, in my opinion, is daft.
I wonder if because if you look back at the birds aren't real conspiracy
Yeah.
theory, that was begun as a satire. I wonder if some people aren't either maliciously or accidentally starting these conspiracy theories. Really jokingly, really half-heartedly, well, light-heartedly, and then it's just getting out of hand. Because some of them, like the chemtrails one, I can see someone just almost. Can you imagine? Okay, so let me paint you a mental picture. You've got a group of uni students, second year students. They've had a bit something to drink. It's a nice summer day. They're out in the country. One of them has got a stalk of straw in his teeth and looks up and he sees these vapor trails, and he says, "You know what those are, don't you? Those are chemtrails."
Yeah. Well, yeah,
and
that
and
is,
that's
yeah.
it.
That's it. No
And that's
evidence, no nothing,
No.
and that's how it starts. Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
smoking weed all afternoon, and it's a bit high. He says, "Those are chemtrails," and it's gone. Just takes it from there.
No,
Because it's very
absolutely.
hard to take some of these things seriously. It's really hard.
Well, some people clearly do, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
Bizarre. Okay,
Okay.
your turn.
It's my turn. Number
Yeah.
5,
Yeah.
reptilian overlords.
Oh, I've got that one as well.
reptilian overlords. This one is one of the dumbest ones because we actually know where the blooming thing comes from. It comes from an author called Robert E. Howard, who in 1929 introduced the Serpent's Man in his book, The Shadow Kingdom, which drew on theosophical, this Madame Blavatsky movement, if you know of it, on the theosophical ideas that there were ancient civilizations like Atlantis and Lemuria with humanoid reptiles depicted as shapeshifters. So it is as if our civilization gives way or it disappears, and then thousands of years from now, people pick up on the vampire theory. Well, theories, not a theory. They pick up on vampires. In our civilization, we always go banging on about blood-sucking vampires, and they think we were serious about it.
Right.
You see, and then they go like, "Oh yeah, so the bat people." So we've got the lizard people. This new civilization is going to have the bat people because they misunderstand that Dracula was just a work of fiction, was just
Yeah.
an entertainment thing. So we know that, and then we've got this David Icke fellow.
Oh, he's
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive. Yeah, absolutely. He still does his tours. Still makes money from, vulnerable people who believe his stories. Well, they are. I mean, come on, the stuff he says. He starts off okay, like you said it.
I've watched that before. I've watched it before.
Yeah.
He started off okay, and I was thinking to myself, why do people have it in for this guy?
Yeah.
And then
he makes a leap.
very gradually, sort of like, and you go like, whoa.
and then Her Majesty's are also a reptile.
Oh yes.
What?
The royal family.
Where did that come from?
And they originate from the Draco constellation. How does he know this?
I don't know.
They originate from the Draco constellation. I didn't even know there was a Draco constellation, so maybe I'm behind times. And they've been controlling humanity for millennia. If they've been controlling humanity for millennia, they're doing a really bad job of it.
Yeah, they are.
And they're not flipping good, incompetent clowns. It's just pure. Again.
Oh,
And how do you know? This is what bugs me.
Yeah.
This goes back to this I have secret information, I have knowledge thing. Because I think this is a manifestation of it. That how would you know what are they so incompetent that their secret is falling through and they can't even control that, but they want to control humanity?
yeah. But then what gets me, and I have to say this, why is it no one in the world has picked up on this information apart from you on your PC in your bedroom on the internet? Now, come on! Unless you've experienced it yourself, that you've seen it firsthand, and then you can say, "Nope, I've had firsthand experience," whatever. No, a lot of the people who believe this stuff have never seen anything. They've just learnt about it from others, second and third hand. So when you're hearing stuff that way, which a lot of what we hear is you have to question it. If it sounds outlandish, the likelihood is it is,
Mm.
because it's stuff that happens that's outlandish is actually incredibly rare. Most things are plain boring and easily explained. 99.99999% of stuff, nothing happens. It really isn't. It's all mundane, explainable things. So the tiny percentage which can sort of turn people, it's minute, and it's only those few people who firsthand can recount it, and they're in
Mm.
minority. So for people to catch on this, oh yeah, reptilian. David Icke himself, he's never met any, has he? Has he? Has he met
But
any of these shape-shifting
I
people?
don't really follow the guy that closely, but I mean, and then they said that Her Majesty,
I know.
rest in peace, was was reptile, and
Yes, the
and
royal family
I
were,
get,
yeah.
how do you know? Anyway,
Ridiculous.
that's
Ridiculous.
the
That
thing.
is ridiculous. Right, I've got another one which is a bit bizarre. Is, did you know that Australia doesn't exist?
Australia does not exist. Well, I've never been there, which I find rather suspicious.
Right.
On the other hand, I've never been to China either.
No. Well, I have.
Oh, have you?
Yes. Well, I've been to Hong Kong, and
Okay.
I know that China exists because of that. So I've been to Hong
Okay,
Kong.
I'll take your word for it. I'm going to trust me,
And
bro.
my friend who's been to Australia, and I've got 3 or 4 different friends who have all sent me photos of strategic places that they've been to in Australia, like Ayers Rock, which is not called that anymore, and other places like the Sydney Opera
Oh, the
House,
Sydney Opera, the famous
pictures from
Shell
there. So
building.
yeah, I'm pretty certain that Australia exists.
Fam, Shell. Fam.
And yeah, and apparently this hoax is perpetuated by geographers and actors, apparently. And
Geographers.
yeah, apparently. So
What? Prof-
they're saying that all geographers are in on it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
right,
in
I'm
on
with you
it.
now.
Australia does not actually exist.
And what's the
And
benefit?
well, exactly. What is the benefit? What? Why? Why? Oh, well, it's just to fool everybody. Yeah, but why? Why are you fooling everybody? This is what I mean. Are you sure?
You know the funny thing. You know the funny thing about these conspiracies. They maybe that's why they exist. They sidetrack people from the real conspiracies that are really in front of them. Is that maybe why they exist?
Possibly. Well,
It's
that's why the people have said that about UFOs. They've said, oh, is it? They don't really exist, but the government
it keeps
fuel
people distracted.
UFO distracted from what they're actually doing.
Mm.
And there's an element of that. That could be a possibility, of course. You have to consider all possibilities. So, yeah, to make it a more mundane story, the government are testing a lot of this technology. We're talking about UFOs here. And so, to distract the population, they fuel UFO stories through various channels so that people are distracted from them doing the various testing. But that makes sense. But then this one, I mean, why? What's the benefit? Australia doesn't exist. And
And how do
what?
Australians feel about that? Where do koala bears come from?
Well,
What about kangaroos?
marsupials as a whole.
Yeah,
A lot of
I
them are
mean,
there, aren't
because
they?
that's where they naturally live, isn't it? They don't
Mm.
really live anywhere else.
No, that's a strange one in itself, mind you.
So if they live, if you go to the zoo and you say koala bear and Australia doesn't exist, it begs the question: well, where did this thing come from?
Wow.
Because because it's not. What I'm trying to say is because there aren't native populations elsewhere.
Yes.
If there's no Australia, then you really have to explain the koala bear and kangaroos and things like that.
Wow. They could
If
say, well, just
if
in a
they had other
pocket of.
populations, like they had populations in let's say Latin America or South Africa, then you could say, yeah, okay, they
Yeah.
just moves, but they don't.
No, there aren't any. They're
Yeah,
only
okay.
native to Australia. So that's a dumb one, but it's just. I'm sure this again has come from somebody being humorous, and people
Mm-hmm.
have taken it as official and don't know how to see satire or humor and fun, and they go off on one and think, oh yeah, it don't exist.
Well, I mean, especially, I mean, Australia, it is a very strange land, obviously. I mean, not with what we spoke about the drop bears before.
Oh, yeah, we did, yes.
So,
For the benefit of
well,
our audience, what we're talking about, you need to listen to one of our past shows. Just search on any of the platforms that we're on for drop bears, and you'll
and why you
understand
should
what we're
watch out,
talking
why
about.
you should be very, very careful
Be
when you visit
careful.
Australia. Watch out for drop
Watch
bears,
out for the drop bears.
because they'll get you.
Absolutely.
Number
Absolutely.
four for me,
Yep.
the moon landing was faked,
Okay. That is also on my
despite
list.
actual lunar rocks, despite telemetry data, despite the enemy Soviet Union watching them like a hawk, despite national observations. All this was all staged. This huge conspiracy was staged. Now, this one, although I put as number four, the dumbest, it's still interesting because what perpetuates it is, to me, the incompetence of the American government. Someone somewhere in 1969 was so blasé about men going to the moon that they destroyed all they destroyed all the tapes and everything.
I
It's not really important. No one's ever going to be really interested in this stuff. And then set fire to it.
You see, that's why some conspiracy theories are actually
Mm.
fueling them further because of dumbass stuff like that, which begs the question, really, really. But however, I'm going to give NASA a break because we've now seen firsthand what top of government is like, so NASA's forgiven for making fuck ups.
Now that we've had the Trump administration, we understand that anything could happen.
Yeah,
I've
we
always thought that
know,
they burnt it.
we know genuinely someone could have deleted
Yeah,
it.
no, I can see someone saying, "Well, what do we need all this stuff for anyway?"
I
You
know.
know, it's
Let's
just like
save some space.
we just need to
We need another
save space. Yeah,
desk.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
dear
it's all gone up
Lord.
in smoke. And then people say, "Yeah, but we can't go back to the moon." Well, we spent a lot of money going there in the 60s and 70s, and Congress simply hasn't appropriated those kind of funds to going back now. I think we've become so pussified as in the West that we've got to think about all the health and safety things and everything that it basically
They didn't do
they
back then.
put these people into a tin can and they said, "Good luck, off you
I
go."
know. Well, there was an element of that, though. There
But you're
was.
not going to get away with that today.
No.
So that they went through this Van Allenberg,
Van
Van
Allen
whatever it is,
belt. Yeah, yeah.
and
Radiation.
I think it really was good luck and goodbye. Hope to see you soon.
They
And you
took some
wouldn't,
calculated risks, let's put it
yeah,
that way.
you wouldn't do that today.
No,
And I think
today they
that's the
couldn't
thing.
do it.
And by the way, we had more, paradoxically, we had more robust electronics in those
Yes.
days. Cathode ray tubes and stuff like that. It was
Yeah.
pretty robust.
Yeah.
Built by real men.
Oh,
During when
dear.
men wore trousers and women wore skirts and all that sort of thing. Now we've got these very delicate, very fancy
Electronics that are not
electronics.
designed to withstand radiation.
What is it that TCMC makes? Semiconductors. That's the
Yeah.
one. Chips. That's what I was looking for. All these very, very delicate chips and everything. I mean, even the manufacturing is the people are dressed from head to toe in hazmat suits and all this. That's just to manufacture them. You can't stick them in there and send them through. So, in a
I
way, we've
know.
gone kind of backwards. I mean, we'll get there again. I mean, we send landers there, for God's sakes.
Yeah, but
The
it's
Chinese, the Indians,
sending a automated device is one thing. Sustaining humans is another because
Mm,
we have so many. You need to go to the toilet, you need to eat, you need to breathe, you need to move. There's all these other considerations. And you've got to take a lot of air because we need to breathe. If you're just sending robots up there, there's none of these things that have to be considered. It's just getting the device there. You've got to make the device bigger, so you need more fuel. So there's many, many more complicated reasons to send humans into space than it is to send
mm.
robots and things like that. Although there is less and less need as technology improves in order to do so, because you can send robots that can mimic humans, and you're seeing through their eyes. Granted, there's a little bit of a delay, but still not enough to stop the things functioning. For instance, if you were to send a robot that you could look through its eyes and move its body, so you don't have to take the risk of going on the planet, there's a 3-second delay with any response. That's how long it takes for the moon and back to send a message. So that's a delay, of course, that you'd have to deal with, but you wouldn't have to send humans.
Well,
You
we'll
could
find
send a
out in
robot.
2028 because that's when the next manned lunar mission, NASA's next lunar mission is scheduled for 2028.
Okay,
So
cool.
we'll see.
We'll see. Indeed.
Right, your turn.
Right, another one. This one I think is ridiculous. Let me pick it up here. Titanic switch theory.
Oh no. You've actually found fantastic ones. What the hell is this now?
This one is because they believe that the Titanic didn't actually sink. It's its sister ship called the Olympic. So what they said was that the theorists claim that the White Star Line owned the Titanic, swapped the ships to claim insurance after the Olympic was damaged. So
Wasn't the owner
really
of the ship on board the Titanic?
was the owner of the Titanic on
Yeah.
board? Oh, I don't know actually.
I think he was.
Really?
Look it up. I'm pretty sure he was. So he went down. That is a very expensive way of claiming insurance.
To kill himself.
to go down with the ship or whatever.
Well, the claiming there was differences between the Titanic and the Olympic, which was the sister ship of the Titanic. For instance, the windows were different for a start. So there were differences between the two. So when you look at old photographs of the two, there is clearly a difference. And the one that sank is certainly the Titanic. So these conspiracy theorists who are saying that the Titanic was switched for an insurance job are talking nonsense. If they're just cherry picking the data and ignoring certain photographs that
Apart from
clearly
that,
show the Titanic and the Olympic are two different ships, really.
okay, sorry, he was not. The J.P. Morgan, the majority shareholder of the American company that owned the White Star Line,
Yep.
was not on board the ship.
It wasn't. Right.
However, J. Bruce Ismay, Ismay, the chairman and managing director of the White Star Line, was indeed
Titanic, right.
on board. However, he survived, which made him a controversial figure.
That's interesting.
I don't know why he's controversial. I mean, he's not the captain.
He wasn't the captain, he was just a passenger at the time.
It's just a passenger, man. And they accused him of cowardice for taking a lifeboat seat while many women and children perished. Yeah, but they're not my women and children. Do you know what I mean, Buff?
Oh.
And I'm rich, man. I'm rich, bitch. Which is a famous Chris
Rock.
Yeah, was that Chris Rock?
Chris Rock, was it his line?
No. I'm rich, bitch. It's Dave Chapman.
Oh, Dave Chappelle. Yeah.
Dave Chappelle, thank you, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah,
That's one of his. I'm rich,
Hilarious.
bitch. Yeah. I'm not gonna go down. I've got all this moolah to spend.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, no. I was going to say, the guy, James Cameron,
Right.
he went down there.
He did, didn't he? Yes.
With a submersible,
He
he
did,
took all
yeah,
these
he did.
photos and everything. They've brought up actual stuff from the site of the shipwreck.
Yep.
They've actually brought up stuff. You can visit the Memorial Museum in Ireland. So, I don't know. It's almost as bad as the flat Earth way. You can actually just look out the window, pal. It's just yikes. Okay, so what's my next one? Where is my next one? My next one is nope, not there. It's in. Okay, what? Okay, sorry. Wrong one. Okay, this is where we get to the fun stuff now.
Okay.
Because that was number. Have I told you this one? Oh, the hollow Earth theory, number three.
Yeah, I've got that as well.
The hollow Earth theory. Like, I love the way the guy that was debunking this said, "Where is the entrance? We've covered every millimeter of this stinking planet, and we've never found the cotton picking entrance." Okay,
Uh,
there is, and he said the physics, which I believe I mentioned before in one of our previous episodes, that the physics just wouldn't work.
no, but I
We
mean,
would, it would all be different. The density of for us to have the kind of the gravitational forces that act on us now, the Earth would have to be of some kind of weirdly dense material because most of what will be holding us here and causing a gravity well wouldn't be there. So
yeah,
what's left has got to take the gravimetric equivalent of all the missing tonnage.
yeah.
So I don't think a pickaxe, I don't think a diamond pickaxe would be able to go through the Earth's crust if it was because it'd be that dense. It'd be far denser than lead or something.
Of course, well, that's not how it works. Lead is the last element that's formed, isn't it? When you have stars and planets forming, it's something to do with the element composition. You can have the first few, but it stops at lead because
Mm.
lead is too heavy that the cells, that the electrons can't break away from it. They're drawn to it, and that's the final element that is formed in cores of planets and stars. It's chemistry. So yeah, and physics as well. So it's just physically cannot be hollow, not how they've described it, unless it's man-made, and the planet Earth's not man-made. So yeah, nonsense. That is ridiculous as well. But I
Yeah.
mean, you might have caverns. I get that, but that doesn't make the Earth hollow as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean,
And we've covered every millimeter of the planet. I mean, right now, I think man has set foot everywhere.
well, I'm not sure. There might be some
Where do you think
parts
we
of the
haven't?
Amazon, for instance, that we haven't set. We've photographed it, but whether we've set foot on it is
No, Amazon is
debatable.
kind of dense, yeah, to get it.
Yeah.
But then again, in the Amazon, I don't think when was the last time we discovered a tribe? I mean, it's been donkey's years, right?
Yes.
So nobody to discover basically.
Yeah, I know.
We
Doesn't
used to
mean that there
every
isn't any because if you think about the planet as a whole, there are vast areas of bush that haven't been explored, and also the sea. We're making an assumption that the
so you think
whole
wait,
oceans have
wait,
been seen.
you can't have an entrance to the thingy under the sea. Because the water would drain. Mm-hmm.
Uh, Not
How?
necessarily, because you could have it so that it's a hole, but then the hole comes up so that the air is in, and then you've got the drain. Do you see what I mean? So
Like
the
like the U bend in the toilet.
yeah, yeah, a similar sort of thing, yeah. So the water would remain, but the U bend, I don't know. I'm just theorizing here, but yeah, okay. How close are we to the end? Because we've got a few minutes still. We're still rambling.
well, you've taken away my number one, which was the flat Earth theory. But let's look at the
Okay,
number two,
all right. Do you
the
want to do
fake
your
sun theory.
the fake sun theory? I haven't got that one.
The fake sun
Go on.
theory. Okay, so the fake sun theory posits that the conspiracy says that years ago the real sun was that some people swapped out, so malicious elements swapped out the real sun with a fake one
It's
because the
worse
real
than that.
because they wanted again to control mankind
Oh,
with this yellow sun because they swapped out the real sun which was white with a yellow with a sun which is yellow. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this in spite of the fact that scientifically our sun is called a yellow dwarf. And I think you'll find yellow is in the name there. But but that doesn't stop our fake
oh.
Earth conspiracy. Sorry, fake sun conspiracy theories, which I find hilarious. It's just
I mean,
again why? Well, to control the world.
but how? How could
How?
they even do
There we
it?
go. There we are.
It's just nonsense. Why? At what benefit would they get? You change if it was. Oh, I
And
don't
what
even.
kind of
I can't believe
technology?
I'm even talking about.
An entire the surface of the sun is either they've got a smaller object much closer to Earth, But then are we rotating around it and are the other planets rotating around? What are we rotating about? Because if it's a fake sun, where's the real sun? Why don't we
Oh,
see two suns?
oh.
There's just so many. I mean, like, I think someone in sort of year seven should be able to debunk this. Just,
Well, but if adults believe this stuff, then they're just deluded. They've clearly got a problem because
yeah, I think
really,
that's part of
seriously,
it. I really do think that part of it is there's a screw loose somewhere. I
there's got
mean,
to be. There's got to be
or they're kidding.
possibly. If they're kidding, going, no, I'm only joking. I get that, but why follow it if you're kidding? Too often? I don't know.
Maybe you're just trying to be perverse, and you're just convincing other people because you just want to see how dumb people are. It's a living. You are living a practical joke.
What are you yeah, what are you benefiting? You're not at all. It's just nonsense. Why would you do that?
Why do people paint graffiti? They don't write their names to it. Someone once said that graffiti painting is the purest form of art because it's not done for recognition nor money. Very
And it's
hard to
done
do.
for what? Yeah, done to be just to
Pure
do it.
art of it, just the pure art. I mean, the really
Photoshop
funny
it.
graffiti. I don't mean the stupid one,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but the really great graffiti out there that makes you look, think, laugh. That's just somebody
Hmm.
somewhere just randomly wants to share. And
Okay,
maybe this is just a very bad kind of graffiti. This is a social graffiti, and that at least would make some kind of sense. It's social graffiti.
okay, okay. I've got another one.
Mm-hmm.
This one you may enjoy too. Did you know that Paul McCartney died in
I
1966?
was replaced,
He was replaced,
and the guy walking around now is not really Paul
yeah,
McCartney.
by Billy Shears. His name is.
Oh, they know the name now. Oh, okay,
Apparently
I
they
didn't know
just
that.
he's replaced by Billy Shears, and apparently it happened, and so you know it's in the albums. They secretly put messages in the albums themselves to give that clue away.
Why? You got a secret. Why are you putting in your blooming album so everybody can crack it? I thought it was meant to be a secret. Why
I
would
mean, Paul McCartney himself has been asked about it, and he keeps joking. He keeps joking about, yeah, yeah. Um,
I wish he just put his finger to his lips and go shh
I
like
know.
that, that'd be
Yeah, I'm not
fantastic.
really here. This is a hologram. I mean, who actually believes this stuff? I mean, to me,
David
that,
Icke.
well, it's just bonkers. Um, because there's clues apparently. Someone's fans have said there's clues within the albums themselves, and they played backwards a song,
Mm,
"Turn Me On, Dead Man," played backwards
mm,
on a Revolution 9, and apparently it gives clues as to Paul McCartney's death.
mm.
Like you said, why would they do it if they had the reason to say that he died and replaced him with Billy Shears? Then why then reveal it in the album? Why not just carry on? What's the benefit here? For
Not only
whom?
that, how bored do you have to be to play a record backwards?
I know. What are you doing with your
I mean, I
life?
never, I
Seriously.
grew up with records. I grew up around records. My favorite music is on records. Not once in my entire, maybe I'm just very unimaginative. It never crossed my mind to play anything backwards.
No. I think there was a rumor about it that they were saying it's devil worshipping. You get some weird
Well, some of the rock
sounds.
people, is it Deep
Yeah,
Purple, people like that,
yeah.
you're meant to be able to play backwards. But I
Because it
don't
was
know if
so
anyone.
bad that if you played it backwards, it was still awful. So it made no difference.
I actually enjoy Deep Purple, so I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go there with you. Yeah, again, if it's a secret, why is there any clue whatsoever? Real secrets stay secret. Who really
Indeed.
killed JFK? They're doing the possible, but that's going to be secret. That's what you call a secret. Blabbing
Indeed.
about it by playing records backwards, that's not a secret.
No. No.
Anyway, no, but
Okay.
that's a good one because it's
That is
ridiculous.
just nonsense. It's nonsense. Right,
Well, they're
come on.
all
Oh,
nonsense.
we're going to have to recap here as to which ones do you think are.
I have a funny feeling that your Paul McCartney one is probably the dumbest.
What?
If the man is alive, you can look at him. He hasn't changed. When was the change? When was the switch out? When did
I
he
know.
die? Have you noticed any?
He
It's the same
looks like he
guy. He
did
looks
when he was younger. He looks the same now. He's
the
just older
wife Linda.
version.
What's her name? The first one. She
Linda
never said it.
McCartney,
Well, yeah, I was trying to remember her
maiden name.
maiden name. She never said it. She didn't suspect anything. The
No.
kids. You're not my dad. There are all sorts of people. The checks is signing. The bankers would want to know. No, 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 no. It's all fine. All's well. Nothing to see here. Move on. I think that one actually takes the cake.
It's just a
You did well.
ridiculous.
I think. Unfortunately, I have to admit, being a straightforward man, you won. That took the cake, man. That's
They for people to believe this sort of stuff, they have to be a little bit loose in the
it's
head. I'm
yeah.
sorry, because you give it some strategic thinking. Think about it logically. Think about critically. Look at it and think, could this be real? What's the chance of it not being real? Could it be a wind up? Could it be a joke?
Linda
Seriously.
McCartney, you might have said, would have had some kind of invested interest in going along with it, but she had the exact opposite. Because if she could prove that Paul McCartney were dead, then she'd inherit the
All
whole
the
lot.
money. Yeah, exactly.
So why would she want to share with some
Billy
stranger?
Shears, if he was, it's just ridiculous. Honestly, it's ridiculous. That I think is the worst one.
I
If I had
I
to
think
pick, I didn't
yeah,
order mine, but that was the one I left last because I did think it was
I
completely
have to agree
absurd.
with you. That's
Okay. Brilliant. Right, unfortunately, we have got to the end of the show. So, if you've loved this episode, please hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexplained twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tayo. We are the TNT Talk Show, but unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.